Glam Girls, welcome back to my channel. It's Chelsea, where we talk about all things glam and all things girly. I am a beauty enthusiast that loves to have a plethora of things on my channel. So we love to do makeup reviews, product comparisons, and then a little vlogging, a little fashion, a little decluttering, just a little bit of everything. So if those are the types of videos that you truly enjoy watching, I would love for you to consider subscribing and joining the Glam Girl Squad. And for today's video, we're going to be talking about some new makeup that has just launched on the streets of makeup. And of course, I'm wearing all of it on my face, so we will be doing demos and I will be sharing with you my thoughts on these products and if they are worth your buy. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I truly do appreciate it, and let's just get right into this video. So starting off, I wanted to go in with a product that is still kind of fairly new on the market. I've been loving this Lila Be a Glow priming oil in the shade Golden, and it is so stunning on the skin. This is a product that you can use after your moisturizer to kind of prep the skin, add some hydration and moisture to the skin, and then the shade Golden adds like a beautiful golden hue to the skin. So loving it, and I wanted to start off with that because my skin was feeling a little dry. Then when I ordered the two new Fenty products, I was able to get a mini size of one of the Fenty cream products. So this is the Fenty Beauty Cream Lip Gloss in the shade, I think it's Fenty Glow. Yes, Fenty Glow. So I wanted to put that on my lips because my lips were dry. This product is beautiful. I want to say I have a full size of this one, but I love the mini size of it. I can just throw it in my purse and keep it going, but very hydrating on the lips. And I think if you enjoy the original Fenty Glow lip gloss, you would enjoy the creamy formula as well. So then went in with a new product on the street. Here we go. The Shiseido, this is the Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Tint. It does have a broad spectrum of 20. And I was thinking about doing a dedicated video on this, but I don't think I need to do it because I don't know. You all can tell me if you still want a dedicated video, but I can kind of tell you how it is and how it wears and things like that. And I'll insert some B-roll footage of some other footage that I did take with this product. But here's the outer packaging of it. Looks very similar to all of the Shiseido foundation packaging. The shade that I did get was 335 Medium Katsura. Excellent shade match on my skin. This does retail for $43. We get 12 shades, and we get a total of 30 milliliters of product, or 1 fluid ounce of product. And this is described as being a weightless skin tint that adapts and responds to your skin's needs. It provides 24 hours of hydration and light coverage. There's an active force technology that helps to resist heat, humidity, oil, and facial motion for a fresh, natural skin-like finish that lasts all day. And I would have to agree to all of those claims. I think this is a beautiful, lightweight skin tint. As you can see from the demonstration, we really just get light coverage, not even like light to medium. When I applied that second layer, I got like a little bit more coverage, but nothing to really like claim that you can get up to medium coverage. This is giving you a true light tint to the skin. The coverage though is nice, so it is going to, cover some redness, and I think it just looks beautiful on the skin. Very natural, not overly dewy, not matte or anything like that, just a very natural type of finish to the skin tint. And it does not have flashback, even though there's a broad spectrum of SPF 20. I think it looks beautiful on the skin in my studio lighting. Also, when I took some footage of it in natural lighting, it just looks beautiful. So I love this. I think this is beautiful. And if you've been eyeing this one, definitely go ahead and take a look into it. Thank you so much to my subscriber. You know exactly who you are for putting me onto this, because I didn't even know this was coming out. And she's like, it's in my cart. Are you gonna review it? And I was like, I sure can. So I love this one. Very beautiful. I have applied this with a sponge, and it just soaked up too much product for me to justify using a sponge. So I would recommend using a brush or your hands to apply the skin tint. Moving on to concealer. I am still loving this Anastasia Magic Concealer. I have mine in the shade 13. So full coverage, but such a radiant finish to the skin. And my under eye area tends to get quite dry. And I love how this concealer does not accentuate that dryness, but still makes my under eye area look alive, covered, brightened, and all of the above. I am experiencing some more than normal drier skin under my eyes. So if my under eye area looks dry, it is not because of the concealer. It might be a combination of the powders and just that my under eye area is just, she's kind of struggling right now. But love this concealer, cannot rave any more about it. I think it is beautiful. Very glad to have it. It has a really good amount of shades. It retails for $29, comes in 24 shades, and we get a really good amount of product in this. We get 12 milliliters of product, or 0.4 ounces of product, so a really good amount of product. Highly recommend this one. So for powder, I went in with Pat McGrath loose powder in the shade Light Medium 2. And in a previous video, I told you all that I was still kind of formulating my thoughts. I wasn't sure. And I wanted to revisit a product that I had, but in a different shade. And when I saw this on Ulta's 21 Days of Beauty, I was like, great, I'll go ahead and get it. So this is the Jaclyn Cosmetics Luminous powder. This is her Mood Light powder in the shade Carrots. I initially purchased this powder when it first came out in the shade Brilliant, and I think that shade was just a little too deep for setting it across my under eye area, because that's where I wanted to use it. And so this particular powder does retail for $32. It comes in 5 shades, and the shade Carrots is described as a soft golden glow. So this Mood Light powder is a setting powder, but it's supposed to be a luminous setting powder. So it's going to blur imperfections, it's gonna have a radiant finish, it's going to, of course, provide a luminous finish. And what made me wanna pick this powder up again, I was watching, I don't know who I was watching. I was watching them use it, and I was like, that actually looks kind of nice. And then I went back to Jaclyn's launch video, and she recommended mixing it with your traditional like matte setting powder, mixing the luminous powder with like your natural setting powder. This is a setting powder, but depending on your preferences, it might be a little too luminous for your liking. So I decided to do that today with the pat powder, because I was like, maybe I'll like the pat powder mixed with this one. So this is what Carrots looks like. This is the Jaclyn product, and I really like the glow that it leaves. And I don't feel like the glow is so apparent that I could not use it as a setting powder. However, I have formulated my thoughts on this pat powder, and I just feel like it is too drying for my liking. I think it's a beautiful powder. I think it's excellent as like a full coverage setting powder, if that's the look that you're going for. However, it's just too matte, and I can't get over that. So I'm gonna go ahead and just conclude that this is not the best powder for me and my skin, because like I just mentioned, my under eye area tends to be more dry than the rest of my face, and I just don't like it. I think that's why my under eye area looks like dry and kind of heavy to me right now, because of this powder. So I'm looking forward to using the Jaclyn powder by itself, like applying my Kosas powder first and then like dusting that under the under eye area and the T-zone. I think that would look really pretty. So yeah, I actually really like this Jaclyn powder so far, and I like the color much better than the original color that I had. So after that, I wanted to get into some of these new Fenty products. So the first one is going to be the Highlighter Trio. This is her Diamond Balm Triple Drip All Over Diamond Veil palette, and she released it in 3 shades that were desired by people. So we have the shades Fenty Glow, Fussy, and Hot Chocolate. So opening it on the inside, we get a nice functional mirror here, and then these are the 3 highlights. So we have Fenty Glow, Fussy in the middle, and then Chocolate on the outer edge. This palette does retail for $42, and she says it's going to feature a unique jelly powder formula that's cool to the touch, melts into the skin, and creates an all glitz, no grit finish for all skin tones. And it's gonna deliver a 3D finish to the skin. So I know this is a highlighter palette, but I also wanted to see how the shade Fenty Glow looked on the cheeks without any blush. And so I applied it right here. And I don't really think, you know, especially from a distance, you could see the hint of pink in the highlighter. So I do think that these would be best used as a highlighter. I put Fenty Glow on the cheeks, and then I went in with Fussy. I'm sorry, this is Fussy and the middle shade is Fenty Glow, my mistake. So I went in with Fussy on the cheeks right here, and then I went in with Fenty Glow on the high points of the face. And I think just like her other Diamond Balm formulas, you really can't tell a difference in the colors because the base is so transparent that even if there is a color associated with it, it's very faint. So just to give you an idea, I do have some other of the Diamond Balm. The texture of this trio is very similar to the texture, I mean, it's pretty much the same as the texture of her other Diamond Balm highlights. So I'm gonna do some quick swatches of them. So we have Fussy right here, then Fenty Glow right here, and then Chocolate right here. So as you can see on my hand, you really can't see a difference in terms of like what they look like on the skin. There's just very subtle differences. This is the shade Diamond Balm. This is the shade How Many Carats. That's the original Diamond Balm shade that she first came out with. And you know, once again, when swatched on the face, you're just gonna get more so of a glow versus any type of pigmentation. So it depends on what you're wanting this for. It may not be worth it to get a whole palette, being that you really won't see too much of a difference between the shades. I wanna swatch Cognac Candy compared to Chocolate, because looking at Chocolate, it looks very similar to Cognac Candy. So here is Cognac Candy if you're not familiar with it. And let's see, we're gonna put it right here. So Cognac Candy does come off a little more golden, whereas Chocolate comes off a little more brown. So there's Chocolate and Cognac Candy. But once again, I feel like if you put them on the cheeks, you're just gonna get more of that like glitz from all of them, and I don't think you're gonna get too much differentiation between the shades. So I like this, but I don't know if I can justify like you purchasing it if you already have like multiple ones of her Diamond Balms. Like I have How Many Carats, Cognac Candy, Hollow at Me, and then I have actually Fenty Glow. It came in like a holiday set last year. I have Fenty Glow here. So if you're like me and you already have a few of these, I don't really see you like needing this, unless you're just a person who loves to collect Fenty items and you're like, yeah, I want to get Chocolate and I want to get Fussy. Then I would say, hey, have at it. The formula is the same, and if you love the formula, you'll enjoy it. Or I would recommend this to someone who doesn't have any of the Diamond Balm formula highlighters and you want to have, you know, a nice palette having all three. I think you can purchase this and like literally stop right here. I stopped buying the Diamond Balm highlights because I realized like you're not going to see a difference of them on the cheeks. They all are eventually going to look the same. So I think she came out with like a rose one, and I just was like, no, I'm not going to get it because they're not gonna look any different on the face. So I did go in with a blush though, because I did want to add a pop of color to the cheeks. So you guys, I've been loving these Givenchy Prisme Libre blushes. So this is the shade 5, and that's what I have on the cheeks. And I just applied it right over the Diamond Balm highlight, but you can still see the Diamond Balm highlight kind of peeking through. And I think it looks really pretty. It is not a gritty formula, which is really nice. And I think the best way to apply these is with your finger. I went in with a brush on the cheeks, but to get the most bang for your buck and to get like the most product onto the face of these Diamond Balm highlighters, it's best to go in with your finger. So on to the eyeshadow palette. So the eyeshadow palette is going to retail for $48. Where is she? She's right here. Here's the outer packaging of it. And just like, I didn't mention this, but just like with the highlighter palette, the back of the palette, of the eyeshadow palette, it is snappable. So I have some of the other snap shadows that she's come out with. So I just wanted to show you all how you can like snap them together. Which I'm not gonna lie, I think this is such a neat little like concoction that the brand has come up with. I'm not even gonna lie. You can snap these on here, or if you got both the highlighter palette and the eyeshadow palette, you can snap these together. And then, you know, like travel like so. And you've got your eyeshadow palette on one side and, you know, your diamond bombs on this side. So I'm not gonna lie, I think that like that snappable component is actually pretty neat. But we're not here for that. We're here to see, is this palette worth it and what is the formula like? So this particular formula is going to be consisting of shimmers, mattes, and metallics. We have 12 shades. Here's an up close look of the eyeshadow palette. And I will say that I do like the combination of matte shadows to shimmer. You get a good amount of matte shades and a good amount of shimmer shades. Getting into the demo, let me show you what I put on my eyes and then I will tell you guys my thoughts. So I first went in with the shade called Cinnabutta and blended that into the transition area of the eyes. And this shade literally stayed true to color, very light on the eyes. Really didn't show up too much on my skin tone. If you were lighter than me, you would probably get more pigmentation from it, but it wasn't a shade that like increased in its depth the more that I applied. It stayed true to color. Then I went in with the shade Nude Beach, which is right here, and blended that into my crease. And I will say the mattes in this palette blend pretty okay. Like, they blended a lot better than I suspected. And okay, let me finish this and go into what I was gonna say. Then I went in with the shade called Bare Buns, which is right here. And I used that to add a little bit of depth to the crease area for the outer edge of the eye. And I also applied that onto the lid. And then finally for the matte shades, went in with Get This Bread right here, and I used that to add depth to the outer area. And I think this deeper shade here, it took just a little bit of elbow grease to blend it into the eye, but it still blended pretty nicely. It blended better than some of the creamy matte formulas in the Natasha Denona Love palette. So it took a little bit of elbow grease to blend it in, but nothing that I would say like, this is horrible. Okay, where we get into some controversy and some non-consistency is with the shade called Hot Chocolate. So I went in with the shade called Hot Chocolate, and y'all, this shade was so dry. Like, looking at it on my finger, you're just like, okay, that's not bad. No, ma'am. Let me see, do I have a space here? I'm gonna swatch it for you all. And like, I don't even know if you can tell from the swatch how dry the formula is, but this shade should be ashamed of itself. Like, it's so pretty, but when I say it's so dry, I don't know if you could tell also from the demonstration, like I kept trying to apply it to like build up the pigmentation and I couldn't do anything with it. It was just like, do I need to wet this? Like, and I was digging my brush in it, like trying to pick up the shadow on the brush to get a good amount on the eye, and it was just way too dry. After that, I went in with the shade called Fussy right here. Now, Fussy was so much more creamy. It was much more pigmented, like you saw it applied to the eye very nicely, and the pigmentation that I expected to come from this palette came off on the eye. So I was like, okay. Lower lash line, I went back in with that deep brown shade right here called Get This Bread, and then I blended it out with the shade called Rock and Rose, which is this shade right here. And I think this is such a pretty like mauvey pink shade. I used that to blend out Get This Bread. And then for the inner corner highlight, I went in with Ballerina right here. And I pretty much used every shade in this palette. The only shade I did not use was this shade right here called Vanilla Cake. And so and then these bronzy shades in the middle. So as a whole, this palette is so not worth it, okay? Okay, let me take it back. Okay. Like I said, the mattes blended out fairly okay. Like nothing, spectacular, but they blended out better than I thought. And I do like the color of this palette. I think this palette would be better priced at like $30, okay, for the formula that we're getting. And if you have any of her snap shadows, I personally think that the snap shadows have a better formula than the shadows in that palette. And the reason why is because, at least for the ones that I have, so this is Snap Shadow 4, this is Snap Shadow 9, and then I have Snap Shadow 3. So these are the 3 that I have. To me, the mattes blend out very nicely in these, and I get good pigmentation from all of them. There's no shades that are like dry, that I have to kind of overwork for. So I would say that it just has inconsistencies in it. Let's do a quick swatch of the bronzy shades that I didn't use. They feel like this shade right here. So the 2 bronzy shades, here are they on my fingers, and then here are they swatched on my arm. So number one, I don't like that they are basically very similar. There's not too much of a distinctive difference between those 2 shades. I also don't like that these 2 mattes, so where are we at here? This matte here and this matte shade right here are very similar. Like when applied on the eyes, you really couldn't see a difference in those 2. I think this, and then also these 2 matte shades right here, here and here. There's slight differences between the 2, but when put on the eye, you're not gonna be able to see those differences too much. So for me, I think that this palette, it is not worth the price because the formulation is not consistent. The formulation is not the best. And then also, it's just, you're not getting enough diversity of shades. I think it's a very pretty palette. Like when I first saw it, I was like, ooh. But after using it, I'm like, no. I think if you want to try the Fenty Beauty eyeshadow formula, it is better to go with one of her snap shadows. Get a smaller one that you would like. These retail for $25, I want to say. But if you get 2, you get 2 for $40, I want to say, or 2 for $45. So you're getting a better deal. Maybe you're not getting a total of 12 shadows, but I think that these have a more consistent formula. And although these are still not the best eyeshadows, like I've used these multiple times, I know I'm not gonna use this again. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm just not gonna use it again. So I don't think it's worth your money. I think it was a pretty concept, but not worth it. Okay. And then lastly, on to a product that I do think is really, really great. I picked up the Fenty Beauty Heat Luminizer Lip Gloss, and this is in the shade Hot Chocolate, and this is what's on my lips, and this one is really, really pretty. So this does have a tingling effect after it's applied onto the lips. Nothing that feels like it's burning your lips, but I've been talking for how long now? Like, I know I've been talking for about 20 minutes so far, and I still feel like a tingling sensation. Very subtle, but like still there. I don't know if my lips have gotten any bigger. I'm looking at myself in my mirror. I don't think they've gotten any bigger. I've seen promo pictures that show like, that people's lips look a little enhanced. I just think this is a really pretty lip gloss, and I like the color. I didn't want to add a lip liner to this particular lip gloss because I wanted you to see what it would look like on my lips alone. But when I wear it again, I think this will look beautiful with like a beautiful chocolate brown lip liner. And then adding this to it, I think it would just be a really beautiful combination. So very happy I picked this one up, excited about this. And guys, that is it. I think I've pretty much summed up everything. Highly recommend the Synchro Skin Tint. Highly recommend the Lila Be a Glow Priming Oil in Golden. Obviously loving the ABH Concealer. And I'm really liking the Jaclyn Cosmetics Powder and Carrots because I think this is a better color for me. And then most definitely loving the Fenty Beauty Heat Luminizer Lip Gloss. Eyeshadow palette, hard pass. The Diamond Bomb Highlight, it's a pass for me because I have plenty of them. But I would recommend this to people if you don't have any of the Diamond Balm highlights and you want to try them, or if you are a collector of the Diamond Balm highlighters and you would really enjoy it. I think this would be one to pick up. And I like that I can snap my snap shadows on the back of the highlighter. I'm not gonna lie, this is by far my favorite part of this palette. So guys, that's it. Let me know your thoughts down below on the makeup look that I've created, on the products that I used today. Are you interested in any of them? What are your thoughts on them? Do you have them? Are you gonna pick them up? Leave it all down in the comment section below. And if you've made it to this point in the video and you have yet to subscribe to my channel, I would love for you to consider subscribing and joining the Glam Girl Squad. And guys, that is it. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope to see you in my very next video. Bye guys.